Imagine an army going to war, not against another nation, but against a flock of birds. Sounds unbelievable, right? Yet, in 1932 Australia, that's exactly what happened in what became known as the Great Emu War. This bizarre and almost comical conflict saw the Australian military deployed to battle emus, large flightless birds, over farmland destruction, and much to everyone's surprise, the birds came out on top. Today, dive into the incredible story of how birds defeated the Australian Army in one of history's quirkiest and most unforgettable wars. In the aftermath of World War I, Australia faced numerous challenges: economic hardship, drought, and a surge in emu populations. These giant birds, native to the continent, began migrating into farmland areas in Western Australia, devastating crops and threatening farmers' livelihoods. The government, seeking a solution, deployed soldiers armed with machine guns to cull the emus and protect wheat crops. What followed was a series of battles that not only exposed the limits of military tactics, but also turned into a national embarrassment, as the emus proved remarkably resilient, elusive, and surprisingly strategic. The context: farmers versus emus. Following World War I, the Australian government encouraged veterans to take up farming in the Campion district of Western Australia. However, the area experienced a severe drought, forcing thousands of emus to migrate in search of food and water. The birds trampled and ate the wheat fields, destroying large sections of crops just before harvest. Farmers pleaded for government intervention to protect their livelihoods, prompting a response that would become infamous. The military solution: enter the army. In November 1932, the Minister of Defense approved sending a small detachment of soldiers equipped with Lewis machine guns and 10,000 rounds of ammunition to tackle the emu problem. The idea was straightforward: use military force to drastically reduce the emu population and save the crops. What ensued, however, was anything but straightforward. The battles: emus outsmart the army. The initial encounters revealed unexpected challenges. Emus were incredibly fast, agile, and spread out, making it difficult for soldiers to effectively target them. Attempts to herd and shoot entire flocks failed repeatedly as the birds scattered and regrouped in clever formations. Some soldiers reported the emus seemed almost tactical, using the landscape to their advantage and avoiding concentrated fire. The Army's efforts resulted in only a fraction of the emu population being culled despite significant ammunition expenditure. Reports describe emus running at speeds over 30 miles per hour, zigzagging to escape fire, and frustrating soldiers at every turn. The aftermath and public reaction news of the Great Emu War soon spread worldwide, often treated with humor and disbelief. The military operation was called off after a few weeks, having failed to significantly control the emu population. The birds were hailed as unlikely victors, and the event became a symbol of nature's resilience against human intervention. In response, the government later shifted tactics to build exclusion barriers and offer bounties to selective hunters, more practical measures that gradually protected crops. Emotional and cultural legacy. The Great Emu War stands out not only for its absurdity, but for what it represents: a reminder of the unpredictability of nature and limits of human power. It evokes laughter and amazement, but also respect for wildlife and environmental balance. For Australians, it's a quirky chapter blending history, humor, and folklore, reminding us to approach challenges with humility and creativity. The Great Emu War may have been a military failure, but it became an unforgettable story of nature's resistance. It teaches us that even the most serious conflicts can have unexpected outcomes, and that sometimes the wildest warriors come in feathers, not uniforms. Thank you for joining us on this fascinating journey into the Great Emu War. If this extraordinary tale of birds outsmarting soldiers made you smile or think, share it with friends and remember, history isn't always what we expect, and nature often has the final say.